Alrighty. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Natalie from the Institutional Banking team in Australia, and thank you for joining me for this Payments in ANZ Transactive Global training webinar. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that I'm joining you from Perth, Western Australia, the lands of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation. I also acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands of which you are joining from today. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and to any Indigenous peoples from the various lands joining us today. This webinar is intended to primarily support our ANZ Transactive Cash Asia customers with the upgrade to ANZ Transactive Global, a powerful and intuitive tool that will simplify and enhance your banking experience across the ANZ markets you operate in. ANZ has a continual focus on investment in modern technology and uplifting our customers' experience. The first upgrade in this journey is complete and provides you with access to balance and transaction reporting, or BTR, in ANZ Transactive Global. And very soon, your organisation will benefit by accessing payments in ANZ Transactive Global. We will send communications to registered email addresses in ANZ Transactive Cash Asia 4 weeks prior, 2 weeks prior, 1 week prior, and post your go live date. Please read through these thoroughly and undertake the suggested activities to get you ready. This session will be an introduction to the payments capability within ANZ Transactive Global desktop site, including how to navigate the payments menu, how to create and manage payments, and running reports. Following today's webinar, I would encourage you to visit our ANZ Digital Services Help webpage for detailed information on the topics discussed, and I will show you how to find this at the end of today's session. You will see that the Teams chat function is disabled. However, you can ask questions using the Q&A tab, which is located at the top of the screen. My colleagues are online and will answer as many questions as possible as we go. Today's training session is being recorded. The video and a copy of the question and answers, including any questions we were unable to answer during the session, will be published in ANZ Digital Services Help in the coming days, so you can rewatch or share with colleagues who weren't able to join us live. And the last thing before we start, this session is being conducted using a training environment. That means some of the screens, menu, and system behaviour may appear different to what you see in your live ANZ Transactive Global site. So please keep that in mind as we go. For anything outside of ANZ Transactive Global, we'll show screens from Digital Services Help. I would like to start the webinar with some tips to ensure a smooth transition from ANZ Transactive Cash Asia to ANZ Transactive Global. I strongly recommend you read the Get Ready for Your Move article, which is found in ANZ Digital Services Help, and we'll now navigate to that article. This article explains what you need to do to get ready for the move and any activities to undertake when you have been notified you are being upgraded to ANZ Transactive Global. It will include information on how to get ready for your move, what will be migrated to ANZ Transactive Global, pre-upgrade activities such as updating statuses of beneficiaries to ensure that they are migrated across, downloading payment reports in Cash Asia to maintain for your records, how to manage payments in Cash Asia that are not in approval status, noting no payments will be moved over to ANZ Transactive Global, ANZ Transactive Global settings and how to change these, and post-upgrade activities and checks. Once your ANZ Transactive Global site has been set up, one of the first things I would suggest you do is to set up your debit and credit advices. To do this, navigate to User Settings, which displays as your user ID in the application banner at the top on the right. Select Notifications and Alerts. Here you will be able to turn on notifications for several things, such as transactions pending authorization, but also your debit and credit advices. Simply click the toggle, selecting from Email Notifications and In-Channel Alerts, and then select Save. You can hover on the information icon to better understand each alert type. Another feature I would like to remind you of is how to set your report retrieval code. The report retrieval code acts as a password to access encrypted scheduled reports that are sent to your email address. So also from the user settings, this time select Settings and Preferences. In the report retrieval code field, enter the code you wish to use and select Save. Please note this is your code and so you can change it at any time. In Transactive Global, you will be able to add widgets or shortcuts to your workspace. From the home screen, click Add to Workspace. The available widgets will now display. Click the widgets that you would like to add. So the payment widgets we have are Payment Status, Pending Approval, and Initiate Payments. Each widget is customizable, allowing you to choose and arrange content that suits your needs. Using the icons, you can refresh the data in the widget. You can click the settings to adjust the settings. And you can move the widgets by clicking on the blue banner and locate them as required. You can also adjust their size by clicking on the icon in the bottom right corner. Let's now take a look through the Payments menu, which you will find on the left-hand side, and we're going to explore each submenu today. Starting with Create Payments. This screen displays the types of payments and methods you can use to create a payment based on your user entitlements. A payment can be made by selecting either a creation method or a payment type. Creation method includes a payment template, which is where you can search and select from previous created templates, and this function will be available early next year. Use a payment file, where you can upload payment files in the following formats: pipe delimited payment file, fixed length payment file, or OTL fixed length delimited payment file. You can also use a past payment. This will open search fields where you can enter one or more search criteria to find historical payments previously created in ANZ Transactive Global to copy or mirror. Or you can select from payment types. Account transfer. This allows you to move funds based on your available balance between two ANZ accounts that you have registered to ANZ Transactive Global. Domestic payments. This is a payment made from a single funding account to one or more beneficiary domestic accounts. So for example, in Singapore, this includes Giro, MEPS, Fast, and Pay Now. And in Hong Kong, this includes FPS and CHATS payment types. International payment. This is a payment made from a single funding account to one or more nominated beneficiary accounts worldwide. The next two payment types are restricted to users with the appropriate permissions: a domestic salary payment and an international salary payment. And lastly, multi-bank payment. This is where you can send an outward MT101 message via the SWIFT network to the bank which holds the account to process a payment on your behalf. Today I'm going to demonstrate the steps to create both a domestic payment and an international payment, so you can familiarise yourself with the ANZ Transactive Global payment fields and the workflow. Let's click Domestic Payment from the Payment Type options. If required, select a division and select the account you wish the payment to be made from, followed by the payment type. So for this transfer, I will select a Singapore ACH payment. Please note any fields with an asterisk are a mandatory field for completion. Nominate the value date for the transfer to be applied, taking note of the payment cutoff time that the transaction needs to be submitted and approved for processing by ANZ. Enter a payment name and a payment reference. And an optional field is the debit advice description. This is the narrative that will be applied to the debit account for this transfer. If the payment has more than one beneficiary, you can tick the checkbox individual debits if you require a debit to your account for each beneficiary on the payment. Click Add to add beneficiaries to the payment. From the drop-down in the beneficiary name, any beneficiaries suitable for this payment type from your beneficiary list will appear here. Or you can click Add to create a new beneficiary. When Add New Beneficiary is selected, the beneficiary details screen will populate for completion. You will notice in the top left-hand corner a checkbox. Tick this if you would like to save this beneficiary for future use. This will prompt a field below. Just wait for the computer to catch up. This will prompt a field below titled My Beneficiary ID, and this is where you can nominate a unique beneficiary identifier, which will then be visible, and the beneficiary screen, which we'll take a look at shortly. Complete the fields, noting again those with an asterisk are required to be completed. And then click Save. You will notice the client reference information populates from the payment reference above, and this can now be amended if required. And this will appear as a part of the narrative on the funding account, the beneficiary statement, and also on the payment reports. Enter the amount you wish to pay the beneficiary, then click on the details icon, where you can update any fields and select the purpose code from the drop-down that best describes the purpose of this transfer. If required, enter remittance information and additional details, and this will appear on the beneficiary advice and payment detail report. Tick the checkbox if you would like an advice sent to the beneficiary and enter the email address. Then click Save. Once all beneficiary details are entered correctly, click Review and Submit. Review the payment details and click Submit. The payment will now move to a pending approval status, and a pop-up window will appear providing the payment ID along with the next step options, which include requesting a payment summary report, which can be downloaded in a CSV, PDF, and Excel SX formats, create another payment, which will open a new payment page, view this payment, where the payment can be viewed from the current payments menu, or click OK to close this window, and then the payment will now show in a current payments menu, where an approver can approve or reject. As we are now going to make an international payment, we're going to click Create Another Payment. The screens are quite similar for this payment type, with only a few extra fields. Select if required a division. This time I will select Hong Kong, and then select the account you wish the payment to be made from. Again, nominating a value date for the transfer to be applied. And please take note of the payment cutoff time for the transaction to be approved and submitted to ANZ for processing. Enter a payment name, a payment reference, and if required, the debit advice description. Select the payment currency. Select Add to add the beneficiary or beneficiaries to the payment. The drop-down will now again display any beneficiary suitable for this payment type. By clicking Add, you can create a new beneficiary. However, for this payment, I'm going to select an existing beneficiary. Enter the amount you wish to send. If you have selected a currency other than the account currency, you will notice a small checkbox below the payment currency field. Tick this checkbox if you wish to enter amounts in the account currency. Leave it unticked if you would like to enter amounts in a foreign currency. Click the details icon to edit beneficiary and payment details. Amend as required and select the relevant charges. If required, add intermediary bank details and remittance information. And an additional field is the sender to receiver info. This is a field you can enter information that will appear in field 72 of the SWIFT message. And please refer to our Digital Services Help article if you require assistance to better understand this. Click Save. In the FX Details field, select Rate Type, and you can choose from Dynamic, which will allow you to obtain real-time foreign currency rate for cross-currency payments less than or equal to US $500,000. This replaces carded rates. It also means that you don't need to book a deal on the day via phone contact. If Contract is selected, after you have contacted your local ANZ Markets dealer to book a rate, click Add FX Contract to add your contract ID. Click OK and enter the utilised amount and click Review and Submit. Today we will select the dynamic rate so we can show you the steps following this. Click Review and Submit and review the payment and then click Submit. This payment will now move to a pending approval status. Again, a pop-up will appear providing the payment ID along with the next step options. If you are an approver, from here you can click View this payment, and this will take us to the current payment submenu where you can approve or reject this payment. Simply select the required action in the control bar above. If your organisation is set up with multiple approvers, the first approver can simply select Approve. The final approver will need or will require a token to complete the final approval to release the payment to ANZ for processing. Please note that if your organisation has users with the Verify and or Release roles, these are not available in ANZ Transactive Global. Please read the Payment Changes article in our Digital Services Help for how to manage this. The current payment submenu displays all your current payments that have not yet been sent for processing, as well as those that have been processed within the last 30 calendar days. Here you will see multiple payments with different statuses. As with all our pages, you can change the grid format to suit. For example, I can move the status column so it is easily visible. Once I have relocated it to the position I would like, I click Settings and then Save to save the changes for next time I go into this menu. Later in the webinar, I will show you in ANZ Digital Services Help an article that will describe each payment status in more detail. If a payment for approval is a cross-currency payment using our dynamic rate, after it is fully approved, it will move to a needs rate status, and a user with the appropriate entitlements can lock in the dynamic rate. They can select the payment and click Get Rate, and then click Get Rate again. This screen will display the rate details, and they now have 30 seconds to trade this rate. A confirmation pop-up will display and the status will change to Trade Successful before it begins processing. As you can see, mine hasn't changed this status, however, it will in your live site. If a payment has been rejected due to insufficient funds, from this menu, I can select the payment to resubmit for reprocessing by ANZ before the cut-off time on the same value date. No additional approvals are required. Click the payment, click Resubmit, then Confirm, and the payment will be reprocessed by ANZ. Reports can also be generated from this submenu if required. From the Reports drop-down in the control bar, You can request several reports for one or more selected payments. All generated reports are available to view or download in the notifications icon, which is the little bell at the top in the application panel. Moving on to Past Payments menu. This is where you can search payments that have been processed in ANZ Transactive Global in the last 24 months and are in a completed with error, or a bank rejected status. Payments processed in ANZ Transactive Cash Asia will not be available to view in ANZ Transactive Global. The page I am displaying shows the different search parameters. So let's search for a transaction across a date range. Enter the date criteria and select Search. The transactions for the search criteria will now display. You can also save your search if required by clicking Save. All saved searches will show under the View drop-down for future use. From here, or the Current Payments menu, an MT103 message can be generated. Select an international payment in a completed status and click on the beneficiary. Then click MT103, and this will display in a PDF format. This will populate in your live site. However, in my site, the PDF doesn't populate. So here is a copy of what an MT103 would look like from our ANZ Digital Services help. The next menu I would like to take you through is Beneficiaries. This is where you can create and manage beneficiaries for future payments. Your beneficiaries in Cash Asia that are in authorised status will be moved to ANZ Transactive Global and will display here. To view, edit, delete a beneficiary, you can tick the checkbox, and from the control bar or the Actions button, a list of options will display. Or you can simply click on the beneficiary, click Edit, and make the required changes, and then click Save. If you approve beneficiaries in Cash Asia, approval will be required in ANZ Transactive Global for the changes to be applied. To create a new beneficiary, simply click New. Complete the required fields, and once complete, select Submit. If you have a beneficiary that you make different payment types to, you will need to create multiple profiles for this beneficiary. The File Import Summary screen displays a list of imported files with a summary including the file type and name, total number of transactions in the file, and the number of valid transactions and those that need repair or have been rejected. For example, we can see on the screen 3 files have previously been uploaded. The first file listed requires our attention. This contains 3 transactions. 1 is valid and 2 need repair. If I select this file, then click View Current Payments, this will take me to the Current Payments menu, where you will notice the alert button on the left warning me that there is an error with this payment. Select the payment to view the error. Scroll down to the 2 beneficiaries that are in a needs repair status. Click Edit, then click Details for each beneficiary, and this will highlight the information that is required. In this instance, the amount is missing. I can either enter the required amount, or if this beneficiary is no longer required, I can click Remove to remove this beneficiary from the payment. Repeat these steps for each beneficiary. Select Review and Submit, and then Submit. This payment will now move to a pending approval status, and approvals will need to approve this payment. Moving on to the Reports submenu. Here you can set up, schedule, manage and email report profiles, or schedule reports generated in ANZ Transactive Global. To create a new report, click New. Select the report time, the file type, and if required, select a language and encoding. Select the date you wish to run the report for, and if required, add any filter fields. Click Run to run the report, or click OK, or click Continue to schedule and save. Complete the schedule and profile detail sections, and tick the checkboxes. If you would like to have this report delivered to your email or shared with colleagues with reporting access. Tick the checkbox to run the report after saving if you would like to also run that report now. Click Save Report Profile. This report will now show in the landing page where it can be edited or downloaded as required. I would now like to take you through our digital services help. This is great if you require specific assistance in completing a task within ANZ Transactive Global. Click Help in the application banner on the top right, and this will open ANZ Digital Services Help in a new tab. Digital Services Help is an online self-service database of step-by-step guides, instructional videos, and frequently asked questions for our digital channels, which includes ANZ Transactive Global. The Help portal is broken into 3 segments: Search, Popular Topics, and Support Categories. Select the search function to search for a specific area of interest. For example, I can type payment status, and here I can quickly view detailed information on each payment status. In Popular Topics, here you can view and easily access the most commonly read topics by our customers. A couple of articles I would like to highlight are processing and cut-off times, and also registering for a webinar. Let's start with the processing and cut-off times article. When I select My Region and Payment Cut-off Times and for display, I would also like to point out at the top of all our articles, you will notice a geography field. This notes the regions that the article is applicable to. The About and the View drop-downs also contain important additional information to support you with this topic. I would also like to highlight the Register for an Upcoming Webinar tile. It is a list of current webinars available for registration, and there is also a link below for recorded webinars for you to watch or share with colleagues. The last segment in ANZ Digital Services Help is our support categories. This includes all topics covered in ANZ Digital Services Help. Simply click on a topic of interest and all related articles will be available for review. I would particularly like to highlight the Upgrading from Cash Asia tile, which includes several articles to support your migration to ANZ Transactive Global. The Report Changes article contains a list of payment reports available in ANZ Transactive Global, plus the report types that you are familiar with in Cash Asia and their equivalent in ANZ Transactive Global. I would also like to remind you about the Get Ready for Your Move article we mentioned at the beginning of the webinar. Please do take the time to read through this to understand what you need to do to get ready for your move. You will also find links to instructional articles and short videos relating to creating the different payment types. And that brings us to the end of our Payments in ANZ Transactive Global training webinar. Shortly, I'm going to display a page which lists our upcoming webinars, together with a QR code to register for the upcoming events. I would like to highlight the next few webinars for this year. Please share with any colleagues who couldn't also join us today. We have covered a lot in today's webinar, and a reminder that a recording of this session, as well as the Q&A, will be added to Digital Services Help in the coming days, should you wish to watch or revisit anything we've covered today. You can get to ANZ Digital Services Help by scanning the QR code that is currently on the screen, or by clicking on the Help icon next time you were signed into ANZ Transactive Global. I hope this session has been of value, and we look forward to you attending our future ANZ Transactive Global training webinars. Thank you.